Welcome to Elemental Abundance Radio, where science and spirituality meet for your highest good. Elemental Abundance is your source of soul evolution.
And we're back. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here at Village Connector Media. I'm in Studio B at the moment, but outside the sun is shining and the sky is the perfect shade of blue. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Zachary, and you're listening to Elemental Abundance Radio. This is a series of conversations where science and spirituality come together to help you become the best possible version of yourself. That's why I created Elemental Abundance, to be a resource of soul evolution. Aristotle believed that our highest good is living well and living up to our full potential. So, with that in mind, I want to share that today we're going to be talking about alignment and how you can kind of get your life into that so that you can live a life that you love. So if you're watching on whatever platform, do me a favor and share this video with somebody who could use some more good in their life. And if you'd like to join in the conversation, you can always make comments in the Facebook group. So if you're on Facebook or go to Facebook, you're going to go to the search bar up in the top left-hand corner and just type in Elemental Abundance. That's going to bring you to our business page and to our private group, and hopefully I'll see you there. So today's episode is sponsored by Tranquil Souls in Crofton, Maryland, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a couple minutes. But first, my special guest today is Ariel Martin of Maven Unmasked. Ariel, thank you so much for taking time to be with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy and excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad that you could spend time with me. We're going to talk about alignment in a couple minutes, but before we get to that, I would love for everyone to get to know you a little bit better. Okay. So, how would you describe yourself?
Well, I'm definitely ultra spiritual. I love spirituality. I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I love to help people and to be a facet of their healing, to bring about more joy and wellness and happiness into their life.
You are absolutely a very friendly, very helpful person. It's one of the things I liked about you when we first met is I think that, you're my long-lost little sister that my mom never knew about. But you always have such a beautiful, welcoming smile, and I'm so glad that you could be with me today. So how would you say that you came into alignment with your spirituality?
I had gone through a pretty rough time in my life for a few years, and I was opened by a mentor of mine to the world of spirituality and grounding and essential oils and crystals and all of that. And through working with her and realizing, first it takes awareness about realizing where your life is out of alignment so that you can bring it into alignment. And I think working with her was so essential in doing that for me.
That's fantastic. And that leads right into, actually, since you mentioned crystals, I do have mine here today. I don't travel anywhere without these. So I've got fluorite, apatite, sodalite, lapis, moss agate, labradorite, and iolite here today. All of those throat and third eye chakra crystals. We'll talk about crystals on another show, but today I want to share a quote that I found that I think really leads into what we're talking about. So let's start off with what is alignment. People hear that phrase, but it's like, well, it just means bringing things together. And it doesn't mean they have to be absolutely perfectly lined up, but it's a matter of bringing them close because, we're not perfect. Everything, the lights are not always going to be perfectly green down the highway. But the idea is to kind of bring things as close together as possible so that they work for you, not against you or despite you. So the quote that I found is from Amanda Lynette Meder, M-E-D-E-R, or maybe it's Mader, I'm not sure. But she said, alignment is you moving in flow of your life rather than resisting against it. So I know for me, I've spent a lot of time, decades even, resisting things, wanting things. I think the definition of disappointment is really wanting things to be other than they are. And that's the opposite of alignment.
Absolutely.
Is that kind of what you found for yourself as well?
I would think so. I kind of like to think of alignment like if you're going to visit the chiropractor. You're in pain, you may be a little wobbly or not walking as sure as you could be in your life. And then you go see the chiropractor and he makes an adjustment, and then you're standing up straighter and you feel more in your power. So that's how I like to think of alignment. It's all about, as you said, energy. And the quote from Annette Lynn Meter about flow and the flow of energy, and keeping it free of stagnation, I would think.
So that's interesting. Do you feel like most people are out of alignment because they're resisting, or are they just stagnant? Because that's two different situations. Are you fighting your situation, or are you stuck in it?
I think it's a bit of both. I think sometimes in our life it's because we're stagnant, and other times it's just because, we don't know where we're going. And I think it's all about getting clear on what you want if something isn't in alignment with you. And what I mean by that is if something used to fit your morals or your ethics and your values, but it doesn't anymore, whether through personal growth or through experiences that you've had, and learning how to accept that and work with it.
That's really important because I think most people don't know where they're going. I think for most of us, we have this big picture dream that's way out ahead of us, and we feel that it's impossible to reach, it's unattainable, and we kind of beat ourselves up about, oh my gosh, I'd love to live in Fiji someday, but, that's just so far out and so impossible. So I think, would you say that, bringing that vision that seems impossible into alignment is a matter of, okay, well, wait a minute. No, I can't get to Fiji tomorrow, but what's a step I could take? Because you talked about, I don't know where I'm going. And I think some people are like, well, if I can't go there, I'm just gonna accept things as they are. But I think part of that flow is there's accepting where you are, and then there's accepting where you are.
Yeah.
How would you differentiate for someone?
I really think that it's about breaking it down. So yes, you may not be able to get to Fiji tomorrow, but what can I do today? How can I bring my life into more alignment today so that Fiji can be possible in 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years from now? So if something isn't in alignment with your life, let's say you're working a job that it just doesn't resonate, you have an anxiety attack before you go in, you don't like your coworkers, whatever it is, by holding on to that job or holding on so tightly, you're not opening your hands to receive anything new, to bring more alignment into your life. So I think it's an equal part of accepting where you are and letting go of the things that no longer serve you.
Yeah, I think it's accepting where you are, as in, hey, this is just a moment. I have this job at this moment. It's not the same as accepting where you are, as in stay in your place. That's a whole different concept. And even if you accept, okay, here right now I'm working at this job, but those little incremental shifts that you were talking about, those little things that you can do to bring yourself into alignment with what your dream is, why don't you find a picture of Fiji and make it your screensaver on your computer? You could get a brochure from the Fiji Tourism Office and carry it in your bag. You could actually go online and do some research. What's it going to take to get a flight to Fiji, that sort of thing. So in your business, in Maven Unmasked, how do you help people identify that they're out of alignment?
Okay. Well, I'm a certified psychic medium and tarot reader. I also do crystal healing. And in a reading with somebody.
Well, let me step back for 1 second. There might be people listening who don't know what a psychic medium is. Can you explain that, please?
Absolutely. So in terms of tarot reading, I use cards. I connect to spirit, to source, to the universe, to energy, your energy, whatever you want to call it. And I interpret the cards in relation to your question or what's going on in your life. In terms of psychic medium, definition. I communicate with loved ones who have passed on to the other side, those who have passed, and they bring through evidence that it's them. They bring memories through, they bring healing messages through, which I think is really important in dealing with somebody who's grieving, and learning to accept the cycle of life and the death process. So that's just a little bit about what I do.
Fantastic. So back to how you help your clients identify. Thank you for explaining that.
Absolutely. So typically in a reading, it will show, hey, you may have some stagnant energy here, or you may be stuck here. Where can you look for a new opportunity? Hey, this may be lying out in the future, but these are the steps that you can take to do that. And that's why I love cards so much. I do have a reading. It's called my Happy and Whole reading. And
I like the sound of that, because don't we
you.
all want to be happy and whole?
Absolutely, yes. And it shows, where are you holding on too tightly? What do you need to accept? Where do you need to have more patience in your life about your passions? And where is that energy blocked or stagnant, and how you can move through it? Truly, in a reading, it's about a progression from where you are right now to where you want to be, and the steps that you can take to get there. Gotcha.
So I have to be in alignment with where I am now and where I want to be. With also the understanding, though, that journey is not a straight line. It's usually squiggly, and it usually has side roads, and sometimes it has a cloverleaf loop that has you going around and around a little bit. But when I've got another quote here from Mildred Norman, the Peace Pilgrim. You can look her up. It's a really cool story. She lived at the beginning of the century, I think. I think she just passed in 1981. But she literally walked around the world and on this mission of bringing peace and healing and happiness to people. And she says, when you bring into alignment your beliefs and the way you live them, only then can you begin to find inner peace. So I know, without bringing up specifics, that you've kind of had some traumatic experiences in your own life. What would you give credit to? What are you grateful for that kind of brought you into alignment with your current path?
I'm grateful for the experience itself, because if the experience hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am today and living my soul purpose. I think the important thing for people to remember is to not be a victim, to take your power back, and to know that you don't have to live the story of what happened to you over and over and over again, that you can break the chain, that you can break the cycle. And I think spirituality and getting in touch with who you are and taking a step back, analyzing your life and seeing how all the little pieces are connected and led you to where you are right now, where you are at right now. And to be thankful for that, and to notice the patterns and see, okay, I went left here, maybe I could have gone right. But I think the important thing is to not be judgmental of yourself and to not beat yourself up for past mistakes or coulda, shoulda, wouldas and things of that nature.
I want to go back to what you just said about taking your power back, and here's why. There was a very low period in my life where I didn't believe I had any power. So the concept of taking my power back is completely out of alignment, was completely out of alignment with my thinking at that time. What advice would you give for anybody who's listening or watching right now that's kind of in a similar place?
Okay. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the chakras today, because the chakras, to me, I really think help to...
Again, step back. What is a chakra for those who don't know?
A chakra is, you have energy centers and meridians all over your body. The word chakra comes from the Hindu religion. It's a Sanskrit word meaning wheel of light. And they are connected to your emotions, to areas in your physical body. You have your root chakra, which is all about your sense of safety, survival, security. You have your sacral chakra, which is all about your sexuality, your creativity, your relationships. Your solar plexus, that's where the personal power lies. That's your area of self-confidence, of acceptance, of standing in your power. Okay. I'll come back to that in a second. Your heart chakra is all about love. Your throat chakra is all about expressing yourself, which is another important piece about taking that power back.
Which is why I've got my crystals today.
Yes.
All my throat crystals.
Yes. And you have your third eye, which is about your intuition, and your crown chakra, which is about connecting to everything and realizing that you are a part of everything and everything is a part of you. So in terms of taking your power back, learning how to do that, learning about the chakra system was so essential to me, because I'll admit from time to time I still do struggle with speaking my truth and being honest with how I feel. I tended to be a doormat and let people walk all over me, or be a people pleaser because I didn't want anybody to be upset or be hurt, because I knew how that felt. So I really think it's about being confident in how you feel and knowing that how you feel isn't wrong, and that you have a right to speak your truth. You have a right to speak your opinion. Now, as long as you do so with tact and, of course, being sensitive to other people's needs. However, you don't have to, again, play the victim. You don't need to allow people to take advantage of you. I think when you don't stand in your power and speak your truth, that people take advantage of you, and then you end up in a situation that's completely out of alignment from you because you didn't speak your mind in the first place.
I love that. And we're going to talk about aligning chakras a little bit more in a couple minutes when we go to our sponsor, Tranquil Souls. But I want to step back into something that you said. I really want to go back to this and emphasize it. You said that how you feel is never wrong. And I'd love to talk about the differentiation between how you feel, which is your solar chakra, and how you think you feel, which is your brow chakra.
Yes.
Because sometimes things happen and you just, something happens, you're just like, okay, for me, for example, major issues with road rage for a long time, because it's like I'm always running late, which means I'm always speeding, which means I'm always in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? And when somebody cuts me off, my immediately feeling is annoyance and irritation and resentment. And it took me a while to go, okay, wait, is that really how I feel, or is that how I think I'm supposed to feel? So now I try to get myself into a place of, it's like, hey, look, he's just doing his thing. I'm the one running late. I'm the one speeding. I'm the one who, got stuff in traffic because of a decision I made. So how do I really feel? I feel like I need to get my butt up earlier tomorrow. That's how I feel. So I like that you said that your feelings are never wrong. How can someone bring themselves into alignment enough to recognize what is their true feeling, solar chakra, versus what is their emotion, brow chakra?
I think it's about taking a step back from the moment, because, road rage, for example, you get that bubbling up, that welling of emotion inside. Okay. Take a step back from that, for a moment and see, okay, why, like you said, why am I really upset? And I also like to try and think of things from other people's perspectives. So if I was in that other car, what would he be thinking about me? Maybe, he had no other choice but to cut you off because, he was going to be taking another exit.
Right,
so,
right.
Try and take a step back from the initial emotive reaction of the situation, the drama of it. Take a step back from that, push that out from you, and then how do you feel in your core about it? Because you have two centers. Well, you have a few centers of intuition, but you have two. Yes, your third eye, your main center of intuition and clear sight, but you also have that gut feeling, that gut instinct, that gut reaction. And really, I feel like breaking it down as to why is this triggering me? And what is it in me that is being triggered? Is it really the event that just happened, or is it something else that this reminds me of? And then I'm back in that situation again.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. So that leads to another really good point. Where we are right now is alignment with where we've been, really. It's like, well, like you said, this happened and this happened and this happened. So for those of you who are not old enough to know what a record is, go look it up on Google search. But, we kind of just keep, playing the same song on the same record because that's what we've done. And so that's what we're aligning everything with. All of our decisions line up with this is the way we've always done it. So how can a card reading or an intuitive reading from Maven Unmasked help people kind of switch and start getting into alignment with who they want to become, not who they've already been?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's about breaking patterns and breaking cycles and an awareness that there is a pattern and a cycle. And I really think readings, especially reading with me, will do that. I also think that when we've been looking in one direction for so long, you have the blinders on. You're not looking at what's going on in the left lane or what's going on in the right lane. You're just so dead set ahead. But if you look over to the left, you may see that, hey, there's a little detour I can take. I can get to my destination faster. And I also think it's about changing the way you think about things. Do you feel that you're worthy? Do you feel that you deserve everything that you desire?
Nice.
Or are you thinking, hey, I'm so stupid, or, oh, I'll never get this, and talking in negative terms. And it's really about learning, I think, too, how to correct your thinking in the moment and knowing that these things are possible and that you don't have to continue to play the same record over and over and over again. Play the soundtrack of your life. What do you want to listen to?
I love that. I love that. And I love the fact, would you mind holding up that thing in front of you? Because you talked about, the card. You talked about, your self-talk. And I love the fact that Ariel brought today the alignment card from the Elemental Abundance journal deck. Yes. And what you're talking about is exactly the whole point for designing those was, hey, this is a way to each and every day kind of shift your thoughts so that they align with who you want to become, the best version of yourself. So thank you for bringing that.
Yes. Anytime. Yes.
So describe, when I come to your business, when someone else comes to your business, and by the way, when you do that, mention the mental dancing, and you'll get that discount. When someone comes to you for a reading, what can they expect? What is that experience going to be like for them?
Absolutely. I think for everybody, it's a bit different. I like people to know I am not a fortune teller.
That's a good point.
I am not a fortune teller. The future is never set in stone. We all have free will. If you go left versus right, you can end up in a different situation. But I think the important thing is to know that in a reading, it's all about you. It's all about what you want. It's all about, what you desire, and how can we break that down and work it out. I would like to think a reading with me is very relaxing. It's confidential, just between the two of us, and they can get, emotional sometimes. People are releasing because, again, we're bringing, that energy back into alignment, seeing where things are out of place. It's very warm, very welcoming, nothing to be afraid of. I did have one gentleman, older gentleman, maybe in his 70s, come to me. His wife was actually getting a reading, and he came to pick her up, and he saw that we were reading cards, and he told me about this awful experience he had before he even met her. They've been married 40 years, I believe, with a reader. And I did a reading for him, and he was like, "Thank you so much, because I'm not scared anymore."
Nice.
That somebody had given him, this awful, terrible news. And I don't read that way. It's all about upliftment. It's all about taking off your mask. That's why my business is called Maven Unmasked.
Right.
And being the truest, most authentic expression of yourself.
So let me ask you about this, though. Life is not just on an upward trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
So is it a false reading if you're only telling people the uplifting parts? And this is not a judgment, it's simply a question, because I feel like there are some people who don't necessarily believe in card readings because they're like, oh, she's just going to blow sunshine up my butt, or she's going to tell me horrible things and I don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. How do you come into alignment ethically if you get a message that's not necessarily, positive?
Absolutely. Well, the tarot, it is not all positive. There are cards which are about grief, which are about loss, which are about stagnation. And if that is what's in the cards for you, tarot will bring it to our attention. The card will be there and we will talk about it. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time, most certainly not. But the thing is to pinpoint those moments of stagnation, or those moments, those places where you're out of alignment, and to see how can you turn that around so that you don't stay there. But ethically, yes, you have to speak about it. I mean, that's life. There are ups and downs.
That's true. That's true. Ariel, thank you so much. I'm going to come back to you in just a minute, but I want to talk about our sponsor, Tranquil Souls in Crofton, Maryland. And the reason I want to talk about them is because their focus is aura photography. So get it, focus. But this is a really amazing service that can help you, find out where you're stagnant, find out where you're out of alignment. So if we can go to the visuals, here's their information, Tranquil Souls, Finding the Magic Within You. But I want to take you to this. So what they do is they actually hook you up to a camera and a biofeedback machine, and they can display the energy field around you. They can see basically your chakras. And this is really cool, because the data that you're seeing on here is an example of the real-time information. And that's going to change as you either relax or get more excited. Mine kind of got off the charts because I was so excited about seeing the reaction that it was reacting more. So, so they can give you the real-time, but then they can also do this cool thing where they can take a photograph of the visual light spectrum to show what energy frequency you are vibrating at and that in that moment. And you can see that this gentleman is at indigo. I was pretty much wide open yellow when I had mine done. And then, the whole point of this is that, when you work with Larry, Sandra, and Tammy, they can also give you a deeper understanding of where you are in the present moment with the conversation that they have with you. But you can also get a detailed report, which I thought was really cool. So it'll help you get everything back in alignment. So that's Tranquil Souls. They are located at 1667 Crofton Center, Suite 4. In Crofton, Maryland, 21114. You can give them a call at 301-202-3605, or you can reach out to them on their website, which is www.tranquil, TRANQUIL, souls, SOULS.net. That's .net, not .com. And make sure that you ask for the mental dancing discount, and they will take a little bit off of your service that day. So give them a call, give them a try. And Ariel, before we wrap up, I would just like to come back to you and maybe get some parting thoughts. What do you want to leave our listeners with today in terms of alignment?
Okay, absolutely. Definitely learn about your chakras. Learn to work with them. I do offer a Rock Your Chakras reading on my website.
Chakras, I love
it. Yes. Because I truly believe they are so essential to living a life in alignment. To not be afraid to get to know yourself, and to not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because when we're out of alignment, we may be comfortable where we're at, and stepping out of that it's new, it's different, it's scary.
Right.
So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, try something new, and leave things behind that no longer serve you.
Nice. Very nice. Up on the screen at the moment is Ariel's contact information. You can find her at Maven, Maven, Unmasked, UNMASKED.com. You can give her a call to set up your own personal reading at 301-742-4241, or you can shoot her an email, Maven, Maven, Unmasked, UNMASKED @gmail.com. So as we're wrapping up today, I want to leave you with one more quote. This one is from Rumi, who is a 13th century poet, and I really love this. Love is a bridge between you and everything. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not leave you astray. So putting that into 21st century terms, follow your heart, and you will always be in alignment towards the person that you are trying to become. So, I want to leave you with our contact information. You can find me and this show all across social media by typing in the @ and then Mental Dancing, MENTALDANCING. We're on Facebook, we're on Pinterest, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. You can find us there. You can also go to the website, which is mentaldancing.com, or you can do elementalabundance.com. There you can listen to the shows, the former podcast. You can watch the new video episodes. You can get your own either journal card deck or your insight card deck, and you can see the directory of guides that are part of your Source of Soul evolution, including Ariel Martin. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Elemental Abundance. This is where spirituality and science come together for your highest good. And so until next time, I wish you love. I wish you every success, and more than anything else, I wish you joy.